Welcome everybody to the Keys to Wisdom channel. So at first I wasn't going to do any type of numbers stuff in this video. I was just going to talk about the vowels in the two different orders that are given within our English alphabet. But I wanted to come over to Genesis 2:7 and use this phrase to take it back to our alphabet so that we can relate the way here it is saying God formed man in the way that the vowels form our consonants. Because here where it says, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. This is the same thing that occurs with consonants. Without the breath of life, a vowel, breathed into them, they are nothing but dust. They are not even a sound. And I know that maybe that sounds strange to some of you because the way English is taught, right? People are like, sound that word out. Buh, 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 buh for the B, d, 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 k, 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 k. Right? But the reality is there's still air action, right? It takes air for that b, d, right, to even make that sound, right? Without a vowel animating the consonant, it's nothing but dust, and it's not even a sound, right? So then within our alphabet, we've got two different orders. So when I threw this up here, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, and what it says there, right? I thought this was excellent here because what we have is anagram, numeric anagram for us looking at the number 351. And the number 351 is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 all the way out to 26. So if you got into simple gematria stuff and you wrote AB all the way out to Z, it would say 351. While I have my stuff prepared with two different versions of the alphabet A to Z, to 351, 351. So that's going to be about it in terms of this video. In terms of the numbers, what we're just going to talk about is listening with our ears to the things that are within the alphabet and thinking based upon what we are hearing, right? Not what we're taught here, but what we're hearing within the alphabet, right? So 351, 351, right? Cut this out of here and put in what I had going on, right? Oops. Actually, when I copied and pasted that off the site, it erased what I had set up. So I'll have to do it again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Right, and let's flip over. Simple gematria, 351. All right, so that's why I thought it was an excellent tie-in to Genesis 2:7 when I used Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, and I put the verse in there, which I believe was the King James Version, and it basically produced me what I want to use to talk about this. And this here is just going to be a simple fix. It's the mandatory fix, which we'll get into once I get my stuff typed in here. Hopefully my computer's not making too much noise. Doesn't like the cold. LMNOPQRSTUVW. We're missing the big W. So now we're at 702, 351, 351, 702. And we're not going to worry about any of the numbers that are staying here. But what I've got is basically just two versions of the alphabet, one switch. The only switch that I'm doing here is A and E because it's the only one that's mandatory, right? That has to be switched, right? We've got the letter A here as the first vowel pronounced. And it's open in the front, open in the back, right? The vowel, the mouth, and the court, all the same things, right? The sound has to be completely unblocked air in the front, all the way through, and out the back to be a vowel. A is the first vowel in our given A to Z rigid order deal. Then we have E is our second vowel. Open in the front, all the way through, open in the back. I is our third vowel given, and O is our fourth vowel given. They improperly teach you here that there are 5 vowels, but if you listen, you can hear it. You. The Y is stuck on you. It's not a vowel. It's actually a manifestation of the O. Right? You do not have 5 vowels. You go through, you take the vowel to your mouth, that is the court, and you run the information, right? Vowel, innocent, A, E, innocent, I, innocent, O, innocent, you, guilty. Guilty as charged. It's not a vowel, right? And everything else with the consonants is just like you, right? B, blocked on the front, open in the back with the E. C, blocked in the front, open in the back with the E. D, F is open in the front, blocked in the back. G, blocked in the front, open in the back. H, open in the front, blocked in the back, right? All the way through. That's the deal, right? They're all just, U is just like all of the other ones. And these are names. And English is very, very different that way than Greek and Hebrew. When you go to the names of the letters in Greek, there are 0 names in Greek that are vowel names. You go to Hebrew, the names of the letters, there are 0. It's not until English where we are given the 4 vowels in the names that are open in the front, open all the way through, open in the back. Right, so it's very, very, very different than Greek and Hebrew. And I'll just say here that through my studying and my learning, the Hebrew alphabet represents the use of 22 consonants, right? There's no A in Hebrew, there's no E in Hebrew, there's no I in Hebrew, there's no O in Hebrew. So if we were going to translate English to Hebrew letters, right, we would pull out all of the vowels and our translations would be nothing but the consonants to the Hebrew. And within Greek, even though they do not have the name of any of the letters as vowels, just like Hebrew doesn't, what they're using there is going to be 22 consonants and 2 vowels, and those 2 vowels would be the second 2 that come after the first 2, right? So it would be the slot 16 and slot 21. So basically everything that you got going on in Greek, if you're going to translate from English to Greek, you'd have to fit it together with the 3rd to the 26th letter. All right? And in the Hebrew deal, you would pull out the 1st letter, the 2nd letter, the 16th letter, and the 21st letter, and they wouldn't be used at all in Hebrew. Nothing but dust. Hebrew entirely dust. Greek has 2 animating vowels from the 16th and 21st position, but it's not using the first 2. English is pulled the first 2 back in that are both vowels, and has all 4 of them that are vowels. Maybe we'll get into a little bit of numbering stuff to show that in the living word, but for now we're disregarding that, and we're going to talk about this, right? So we have the letter A in that order, and the next character is B in English. It's animated by E. It cannot precede the letter E. That is what animates it, right? For the given order that they give to us, it would have to be A, B, K, D. Now E, you could begin to use F, G, right? It's not until H where the A comes in animating something. Everything up to G is either pure vowel, A and E, or it's animated by E. It's not animated by A, right? So the order that's the only one that absolutely has to be turned around, right? I can come here and it doesn't animate anything until Y, right? But it precedes Y, so that can be correct, right? This is not the correct order of where the vowels go, but in terms of chronological order, vowel exists before the consonant that it animates, right? It in this type of order here, when we're looking at it with semi-illiterate eyes, right? Just looking and listening to the alphabet through the things that are given here, right? That can be. And then the O, right, is the actual going to be the Q. Q is the Q. The ooh is the O. That's where the first O animated character comes in. U is a Y, right, on there, and that's another thing too, right? If we go across that here where that Y is being used, right, that Y should actually be in front of that character, right? There's things that are being said when you listen to these letters and they put them in a rigid order, right? You say the A, B, C, D deal always the same way. It's rigid. Nobody ever decides to, I'm going to say the alphabet in any damn order that I feel like, right? Everybody says it the same. It's all programmed to be the same. It's all very rigid. But you have a lot of things that it's saying that people don't even think about and nobody teaches about here. Nobody's listening close enough to think about it, right? And to see it. And that's what we're trying to do here. But technically, right, that ooh, O precedes that U. So that part's okay. But that Y sound that's over there, right, it should technically to be to the left, right? It's in order. 1 to 26, it's in order, right? It's something to hear and something to think about, right? So the order of the pronounced vowels and what they give is A, E, I, O. That's the order in the pronounced vowels where they give them. Open in the front, open all the way through, open in the back. But then the order that we're given in terms of which vowels start animating things, like we were just looking at in Genesis 2:7, right? The creation of man from dust Same thing here. Consonants all dust. It's not even a sound without the vowel, right? It's AOI is the order of animation given within the script. But it's also showing some other things, right? Like this Y doesn't belongs in a different spot, right? That U is using it before it even exists in the order, right? The same way we're going about the B, the C, and the D, they're all using E before it even exists in the order. It's a rigid order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That's the deal. So the only thing that you really have to switch around, the one mandatory switch for it all to be correct in terms of the vowel existing prior to consonants that are being animated by that vowel, the only thing you have to switch around is E and A. Now when I go E, B, C, D, A, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, O, R, A, S, T, U, O, again with that Y there, V, W, right? W. Right now, this is the only one here in terms of the name, right? It's definitely the way it ends with that U. It's an O thing, but there's something because of the word double, right? Double U, double bull, right? Really, we could probably link it all entirely to O, but there's a case to be made that it could be part of the E family as well, right? And there's different things that I've been working on within the living word that I'm not going to get into here in terms of the E family of letters and things that they say, the A family of letters and what they say, the I family of letters, just I and Y, right? And the O family of letters and what they say. And I've been pulling out different names and stuff, and perhaps eventually I'll do more than just talking to a few people about it privately. Maybe I put together some type of a video. But this is a big deal here, right? In terms of listening to this and what is going on, because it's telling you something is wrong. When you listen to what is given here, A, B, C, D, E, there's something is wrong. Something is wrong here. That is what it's saying. It's screaming. B, C, and D, named what they are, preceding E, is screaming. Something is wrong here. Right? And then all over the place, you have the use of the E and the A attached together, right? English is one place where they've stripped that all pretty much all the way out of there, right? Yeah, they'll have the character. There, two is one. The two is one. The E and the A, right? And they're showing you this issue is in here, right? I'm gonna go real fast and actually do just a little bit of numbers, right? We're going to go with A. Why is A a vowel, right? In a living word, because it's 4 and 4. It's as above, so below, right? That's a vowel position. B is a vowel position. 8 and 8. As above, so below. It's a vowel position. C is different, right? 12 above, 21 below. More and less, it's ionized. It's not it's a consonant position. D, right? 16 and 61. 16 above, 61 below. Ionized, consonant position. They give us the E. It's 20 above, 2 below. It's ionized, right? It's the first one charged the other way, right? C is charged to the bottom. D is charged to the bottom. E is now charged to the top, right? And we won't look at them all, but I, 3663. It's a vowel. The name of it, the use of it, it's a vowel, but it's in a consonant position within the word. The O. The O is one of the ones that it's the only one that retains anything relating to its position within the alphabet. So, right, it's in the 15th slot, right? In the living word, the O is 51 above, 15 below. It's the only letter that has any type of retention of its position value within the alphabet, 1, 2, 3 to 26, the 351 deal, right? But out of the ones that they give us, A, E, I, O, right, we're already throwing out U because we're not ignorant like all the people out there are who say that there are 5 vowels and say U is a vowel. They don't even have the beginning of being able to listen and judge what is vowel, what is consonant. They have no clue, right? They've been told that, and all the people around them would say that they're right, and this and that. They're all full of shit, right? They haven't even gotten anywhere if they believe that there's 5 vowels and think that U is a vowel. It's not, right? It's an imposter. And it's using the sound of the double O. And they show you stuff within the alphabet. B-O-O, boo, boo, right? That's that sound, right? Super, super, boo. That's the sound. It's an O-O sound, right? You can hear the theft of the O-O, and you can actually see it within your words. That sound is O-O. It's a sound coming from O. It's used by you, right? They make the same sound. So A-E-I-O, right? And this is actually used quite a bit within the Bible. Every single place where it says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And it's everywhere, right? All of that is the A-E-I-O of God is the beginning of wisdom. If you haven't gotten there, you haven't even gotten started, right? You haven't gotten anywhere, right? This is the beginning of wisdom, understanding there are only 4 vowels. When we get a lot further along in terms of wisdom, we have the keys, and those 4 vowels are A, B, P, U, right? It's 133, 133. As above, so below. The 2, right? The first 2 together are the 12, 12, right? What time is it? The clock, right? What's it going to be tomorrow, right? And that's also in this entire 3rd day of the Gregorian reform. This 12/12, December 12th, represents Christmas, right? Gregorian 12/25 is December 12th, Julian, the entire 3rd day, which we are in right now, the Gregorian reform. And the other 2 vowels, the 2 that are going to be animating the Greek, right, it does a similar thing with the 12/12 theme, right? 121, 121, left and right, left and right. It's also using the 4 of the A, the 8 of the B, or the first and the second position. There's both vowels, right? So there's a ton of clockwork stuff in it in terms of these deals. And also these 4, they're used all over the place, right? They're the 40. They're the 40, but the first is and last are one and the same, right? So it's like that, right? 40 save 1. All the lashes, everything going on, 40 and 1. That's the lashes, right? And within the English language, there's only one number in entire English language that's in alphabetical order, and that's F-O-R-T-Y. There's only one it's in reverse alphabetical order, that's O-N-E. That is also all about the vowels and about the stripes, the 40 and the 31, and those 2, when you really get the gist of it, why is 40 the only one in alphabetical order, and 1 the only one in reverse alphabetical order? Because the first 2 are the first and the last, and they're one and the same. They're both first. Right? That's what the actual alpha and omega is. First and the last, one and the same. Two vowels, 100% vowel script. Absolutely everything can be done. Today we do it perverted with 1 and 0, right? In terms of computer coding, everything can be written, everything that there is, using only 2 characters, right? And we do it in computer coding with combinations of 1s and 0s, 1s and 0s, right? It's all binary, right? Well, absolutely everything written in the same way here with the 1 and the 2, right? But the thing about this is, right, the 1 is the 2 and the 2 is the 1. They're both one and the same. That is the first and the last, right? Absolutely everything. That's a standalone script. Those are single digits, right? 4 and 4, 8 and 8, right? The shape's still in there, right? Your letter, the symbol for your number 8 actually goes right directly to B. Those are the same symbols, right? And when we go with the A and that air bubble in there, the same symbols, 4 and A, they go together. They go together, right? Those are the air bubbles. So those are the actual spots of that. In A-E-I-O, right? Besides fear of God, right, is the beginning of wisdom. The vowels, you start to understand that. Why is it the vowels, right? It's because of the air. It's open in the front, open all the way through, open in the back, right? And it's also it's the word peace. The word peace, right? Meaning, right? I'm not snuffing your air out. I'm not waging war on you. I'm not blocking your air in the front or in the middle or in the back, right? It's the whole deal, right? What does the air say? Right? Some piece of shit says, I'm the master and you're my slave and I own you and I'm greater than you and all this bullshit. You're looking right through it. What does the air say? It's connected to you just the same as it's connected to that motherfucking liar, right? The air says a lot of things. The air is the one thing that connects all of us. Every single human being and everything here that breathes air, we're all connected to the same thing at the same time. It is the number one input in our lives. And as soon as we do not have it, we are dead, right? It is inside of us and it is outside of us. If somebody puts a bag over your head or puts you in a chokehold and prevents you from getting any more air, you're only going to live as long as the air that is inside of you at the time. And as soon as you run out, you don't even last 1 second without it. Boom, you're off. All right. You may be able to be quickly brought back, right? If you are again allowed to make contact with the air, but as soon as the first second you're turned off, and it doesn't take long from there, it starts to your body starts to be destroyed, right? It's done, it's gone, right? With drowning, whatever, same thing, right? It drowns, you're out, your heartbeat, everything's done, right? But if they get you quick enough and they put some air back into you, you can be brought back, right? That's actually like a resurrection, right? Somebody that was hauled out of the water and has no pulse and no heart beating and has been cut off by the air, by the water, and you do CPR on them and pump that water out of their chest and you blow some air in there and they reanimate, right? Well, you resurrected them. They were dead. You brought them back to life, right? Which happens sometimes. So it's A-E-I-O, fear and peace, right? And they're all related. It's the blockage of air, and when you're practicing A, E, I, O, right, you're at peace with everything else. You're not blocking it, in everything. In terms of A, E, I, O, everything is at peace with everything, right? Treat your neighbor the way you'd like to be treated. Not blocking your air, you're not blocking my air. You're pure air, I'm pure air. You know, we got different sounds, but we're equal. We're the same thing, right? We're all about the same thing, right? And the fear, right, is about all of that same things, right? What goes around comes around, right? When they talk about the consequences for Cain killing Abel, right? There's consequences. The first blockage that they talk about within the Bible is Cain snuffing the air out of Abel, and they talk about the different consequences from that, right? And there are consequences, right? You should have fear in terms of that, right? In terms of it's basically right, acting right is vowels, doing the right thing is vowels, and sinning is consonants, right? Air blockage type thing, right? You should have some fear of God, right? If you are wise in terms of you doing evil things to other people, you're going to probably have some reckoning for that, right? So I wanted to talk about a couple other things, right? Like what are within English, what the words. A is an actual word. I is an actual word. They use two E's for EYE for I, right? But it's the sound of the I. They use O, OH, OWE, O, right? So A has a word. I, you could even go like AYE. Hey, you, what are you doing? Right? Different versions, right? They all have words. They have words. Then you have you, and you. The U has words. It's not a vowel though, but it has words, right? The letter U, the name of it, actually has words, and we use them all the time, right? It's one of the big words, right? I is used all the time. You is used all the time, right? Like crazy. I and you are. It's not even a vowel. Where is the word using the name of E? The sound of the name of E. There isn't one. All right, so there's information going on here within English of things that we need to think about, right? The information here of what words are there and used, but also just as important is the information of what is not there. There's no word out there, right? In the first consonant that's using E is animating, then must precede it, right? The letter B has B, B, and B. E has nothing. C has all kinds of different stuff, right? Right? E has nothing, right? What they're doing too, this is another way here of showing you that there are four vowels. But the E is evicted, right? There's only, when they tell you there's five vowels, A, E, I, and O, A, E, I, O, and U, right? But when you go into the words in English, A, I, O, and U have words, four of them, four out of the five, but there is no fifth. So that's they're doing the same information. Just like the names A, E, I and O all pass the test, and U with the Y stuck on U, right, doesn't, because it's a consonant. U is the name of it, is a consonant, right? They're showing you there's only 4 in the names. Well, when they use the words within English, they're also showing you there's only 4, except for they're again using that U as one of them, and E is not in there, right? And also notice that the EWE, there's 2 E's in there, but the sound is for the U, the non-vowel, right? EYE, there's 2 E's in there, but the sound is of the I, which is a vowel, but there is no E in there. Now we're going to do other things. English rules, right? A pair. So if I'm going to write something out in a sentence and I want to say that I picked a pear, right? I can write it out like this. But now let's the word following, let's say it's going to start with an A, and it's going to be I picked an apple. Right? There's rules, there's a separation, not allowing for consonants or vowels to connect to another vowel. A vowel word, that A is not allowed to connect to the other, to any vowel, even if though it's another A, it's not allowed to connect, right? All right, all along here, and this is where the issue is, right? These are both supposed to be vowels. So this, when it's in the English, right, and they drop the AE ligature, right, with the A and the E connected, it's not part of English, right? It's in using a lot of different languages, right? But when this rule comes in of A will connect to a consonant, like it does here with the B, but A will not connect with another vowel, this N has to come in. It's got to be an apple instead of I picked a apple, right? You try to say that, like my grandmother was an English teacher, she'd shut you down quickly, right? Because it's not, that's against English rules to say I picked a apple. I picked an apple, right? Well, these rules, it's all about this in here, right? So there's a lot of things going on within English, and we could probably bring up a bunch of others, and we're not really looking into the numbers here. We're just using our ears and our eyes and our brains, right? Some of you out there may have other things that you can add, and if you do, please put them into the comments about ways to listen and think about what we're being shown within here. But to me, this whole deal of an apple versus a apple, right? That's what it screams to me. It's all about here, the separation of A and E. I believe in Genesis 1:1 to Genesis 1:5 is also about the separation of A and E. And then there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And also there's an issue going on as well here, right? Because we've got Eve as a name, EE, and Adam as a name, AA, right? And this is the same deal that's going on in here, right? So it says that Adam was the dust that the air was breathed into, which within the name it would be the A, right? And then he was put to a sleep, and a rib was taken forth from him because he had no suitable companion amongst the animals. And Eve was made out of a rib from Adam, right? weird ass deal, because just as easily as Adam could be made from the dust and breathe into him, Eve could have been made that way, but they make Eve come out of Adam as part of Adam, right? This is a significant thing here, right? And everything that we see contradicts what they say, right? Every man and woman that you see comes from a woman, right? And nobody will probably dispute this all the way from Eve down. They won't dispute it until you get to the point of where did Adam come from, right? No, from the dust, not from a woman, right? Not born of a woman. But what this also does is it screams the same thing that this screams, right? The first 5 letters here screams mistake. There's a mistake. There's a mistake, or there's lying. There's untruths here. It's screaming it, right? If you listen and you think it's screaming something is wrong, well, the same thing is going on with Adam and Eve, saying that Adam was created first and Eve came out of Adam, right? And then they go on to show you this in the story of Jesus, right? That no man was needed to create the man. All God needed was a woman, Mother Mary, to create the man, Jesus. That's the story, right? And all type of people, 1 billion plus, however many Christians there are, right? They accept the story that Jesus came from a woman without any human father, right? And so they accept that God can create man from a woman without a man, right? Those are two contradictory stories. Adam and Eve is in direct contradiction to Mary and Jesus, right? But this is screaming out a mistake, right? In the Mary and Jesus story, and many people consider Jesus to be the second Adam, right? Goes the different way, right? Here it basically says God created Adam first and made a mistake, and then had to create a woman out of Adam to then begin to be able to create men and women out of Eve, right? Whereas if you just created Eve out of the dirt and blew into her, God could easily create Adam without a man, just the same way that God created Jesus, right? These are also things to think about, right? It's like I'm showing you that A, B, C in their order, the way it is, and then I switch the E and the A. Well, that's the same thing that's going on with Adam and Eve in that creation story, and Mother Mary and Jesus in that creation story. They're two different deals. Two different deals, right? And that's what's going on within English. And there's a lot of things to think about. Why this E is ejected, right? It actually belongs here, A and E together, right? That character together in those two vowel spots, right? But it's all A. English rules. A always must be separated from other vowels, right? And we're doing it even when there is an A here, right? I saw, and we'll just change it, elephant, to what the moral of the deal was, right? The separation of A and E, right? Why this and deal is in there, right? It's because of this bullshit that's going on here at the front, right? It's also because of this bullshit here that's going on there, right? And that verse that I had shown there was creation of the man, right? Formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. But there could be no other men, right? Until something was taken out of this, a rib, a joke, right? Out of Adam to create Eve, and then now other men and women could be created, right? It screams mistake. Same thing that's going on here, screaming mistake. This is not right, right? It's also a giant stain on Eve, right? The stuff I was showing, Eve sans tachi, Eve without a stain, right? A after E, the order, right? VE after damn, DAM, all of that I was showing in the other video, right? Because English is very, very related, right, to this whole deal with Adam and Eve. It's all about the first vowels. Everything Jesus ever taught about the first and the last and the Alpha and Omega, that's all it is about. Those 12, there are 12 hours in a day, right? All of that deal. And everything we have runs on it. And everything we have runs on it. Right? Our clocks do the same shit. Right? Instead of showing 12 hours and 12 hours, it's just one set of 12 hours. Instead of getting two sets of 12 disciples, Jesus and Mary, it's one set of disciples. Instead of having 12 zodiac signs for the north and 12 for the south, it's 12 zodiac signs. Everybody's fucking called this bullshit in the north, even if it's never been above them and they live in the south, right? It's all ridiculous fucking shit, right? And then the 12 have been used in fucking everything like crazy. Our months, our clocks, the actual light, right? The equinoxes versus the solstice, when it's the solstice is what our clock really is, right? It's showing all 24 hours marked on the one side by one side of the 12, right? And the other side gets 0. It's actually our clocks, our solstices. They're actually sea deal, which we'll be coming up on in 10 days, right? 12/21. And the winter solstice in the north, which is the summer solstice in the south. So it's about 0 light in the north, 24 hours a day light in the south, versus the 6/21 deal the other way around in terms of north and south on those solstices. But everything we have, it all runs off of these two characters, right? And that's what everything that there is and has ever been done, it can all be written in just these two characters. Like I had said about the binaries, everything that can be written in 0 and 1, written here, same way. And it was. That's the entire first script. There is nothing else. That's the Alpha and the Omega. But they actually have two pure vowel names without the B lock on them. That's where the A and the E is. Right? To this day here, the E is in there and they got a B lock on it. Right? And people have no clue about anything, but it is impossible for this B consonant to be here preceding the E. The E is here. It's A and E. It's A and E. They're still here. They're hooked together. They got a fucking B locker in there, and that B locker, that is that A and that and deal in English, right? And the actual blockage, right, because there's only 4 vowels, that is the E not having the words. U gets the words, E gets none, right? That's all the same shit. All this stuff that's going on within English is telling a big time story that is directly about Adam and Eve, right? And the contradictions in it, the 2 different orders of the vowels, in terms of the vowels A, E, I, O, and then E, A, O, I, right? That is the same thing as Adam and Eve and Jesus and Mother Mary in that deal. So I wanted to do a video talking about this stuff and relate into it, and also to see what I can get back from, I guess I must erase it all. See what I can get back from some other people here, right? Not heavy into numbers here, but we're going into listening to the rigid order that is given here and why are there blatant mistakes there to be heard? Why are some of the vowels getting words and E not getting words? Why are the English words in there preventing that A from attaching to the other vowel with that N? B locker, air B locker, air blocker, right? That N has to be inserted in there. Why is B, C, and D all sitting in front of the vowel that animates them? Because they're dust. Without it, they're not a sound. They're nothing. They're nothing without E. So how can they be sitting there in front of it? Well, they can't. It's screaming mistake, 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 mistake. And when you really get down to it and you get into the Adam and Eve deal, dude, that's also screaming mistake, mistake, mistake. Supreme intelligent being would not create Adam first and hadn't have to create Eve from a rib and make a joke out of her and put that stain on her, right? The supreme intelligent being would just simply would create Eve first, and then Adam would be created from Eve. Right? Like everything else we ever see here, and just like all of the Christians out there, you accept that story of Jesus. Right? If you accept that story of Jesus coming from the Virgin Mary, then you go back to Adam and Eve, mistake. Right? Eve, if there was no mistake, Eve would be created first, and God would be able to create Adam in the same way that the second Adam, which is Jesus, was created. It would be a mistake for Adam to be created first and then have to go about that. Well, that's the same thing that is going on within English. So there's a very, very biblical story in terms of the setup of the English alphabet, the sounds within it, and all of the different rules within English. So with that said, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you think that's something you should do. Have a nice night. And like I said, if you got anything you'd like to add, I'd be more than happy to check out things that you have to say that I may not have been able to think about yet or just haven't talked about here in this video. Thank you very much.